Welcome to the Nutmeg Curling Club in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We're hosting the GNCC Senior Women's Bonspiel Finals. So today we have our three finals on sheet A, B, and C on your screen from left to right. We have on sheet B is the first event where Dorothy Szymaszek from Schenectady is playing against Team Orr from Green Mountain, with Schenectady having the Yellow Rocks. On sheet A is the second event. We have Team Cousins from Broomstones with the Red Rocks against Team, I apologize if I get this wrong, Pecsi from Plainfield. That'll be on the left side of your screen right now. And on the right side of the screen, our sheet C game is the third event final between Team Dudt from Philadelphia and Team Goldstein from Albany. And the Philadelphia team there has the Red Rocks. So, we'll be focusing most of our attention on the first event game here. That's where our scoreboard's up for Team Orr with a 1-0 lead after one end. But Schenectady with the hammer here in the second, of course. Take a quick look at the overhead camera. Team Orr does have two rocks there on the edge of the house, leaving Schenectady with several options on what I believe is their last shot. Yes, this looks like it's the hammer. They're looking at these rocks on the edge of the house. Of course, you could throw just a soft hit and roll to get one. You could try to really hammer those two rocks to potentially blank, or you could just draw for your one also. Of course, sometimes it can be a little scary to draw against two when you have an open hit. With putting a little bit of fear of giving up two if you don't make the draw right. Looks like from that broom they're playing the hit. Pretty wide range of ways to hit those rocks and score your one. You can hit the inside rock nose and get one. Hit the outside rock on the inside side of it and roll towards the button and get your one. So, pretty safe shot to call here.
With the t-shirt, 5 days old.
If there's any confusion about the sheets here, right now I have the near warm room sheets reversed. Gonna fix that, but not gonna do it in the middle of the end because that'll be even more confusing. We'll move that so that those sheets are true to life. So right now you're kind of looking at them in reverse. Rocks coming in, sweepers are off it. They're looking to get a piece. Oh, a deflection, and gets the roll in. Deflected off the guard into the two red stones on the side of the house. Rolls to the middle, gets their one. That'll tie the game up at one, heading to the third end. So, not exactly how they drew it up, but they got the result they were looking for in their 1 point. And it'll now be 1-1 as we go to the third. Red teams have the lead on sheets A and C. They took one in the second. Yep, no problem. So yes, as the action's coming back here, red doing well on both sheets A and C. On sheet A, that is the Broomstones team, Cousins, with a 4-0 lead after two ends, and it is the team from Philadelphia, Dudt, which I am hoping I'm pronouncing that name right, but I'm not sure. But they have the lead. Team from Philadelphia has a 3-0 lead after two ends in the third event final.
They're on their own.
All right, after Yellow went back deep into the house on their first rock, Team Or looking to set up a corner guard and maybe play this end somewhat aggressively and try to get 2 or 3 after a trade of singles in the first 2 ends. Rock may be just a little wide coming out towards the center line, so that'll be okay if it ends up in the house instead. Don't necessarily want to leave a center line guard for their opponents here. And so you'll see that ends up, the weight was beautiful, ends up coming right to the top of the button. Leaves red sitting 1 for the moment. And looks like Schenectady deciding between either hitting or freezing to that red rock, both good options here. And it looks like based on that broom, they'll be playing the freeze. Or a slight tap, perhaps. Very close on the freeze there, in fact. Put it top 4. Sorry, adjusting the volume just slightly. Should be a little louder now. So very close to the freeze if we look at the overhead. Close enough that they're not going to be going directly after it with any sort of weight. And that might draw all the play into the forefoot, which yellow will certainly be happy about without the hammer here.
Right, people, there's like 4 pickles here. You gotta eat some pickles. Boy, they scarfed down that first plate of...
Another rock coming right down here into the pile, and another setting up a very nice angle here, Team Or. Or now sitting first and third, and has a great angle to remove that yellow rock without losing their red. So Schenectady going to try to use that yellow rock first to remove the red counter. Looks like they're playing a pretty good hit weight. Shot that has to be a little bit precise because you only see maybe 3/4 of that yellow rock. But if you hit anything you see, you'll jam it right into that red that's currently top button and leave yellow sitting at least 1.
But now it's still dark when I
Shots away, sweepers are on it early. They may be on the front red. Tough to tell from this angle. No, they're holding out pretty well. It's going to be close as it comes in. Could just slip by. No, just touches the red. Okay. Well, not a bad result. Not exactly what they were looking for, but makes that shot easier the next time they go after it. And probably forces red to play a similar shot again. Yeah, they're going to look to play a rock that's a combination. Potential counter later, but definitely guarding their red rock for the moment too. By just being right in front of that yellow at an angle. Rock's coming in a little more weight this time. Just enough to bump that yellow, and okay, I'm going to leave red first and third. The main difference this time, that red rock is wide open. Yellow can definitely hit and look to sit 1-2. Definitely still potential here for Or to get her deuce or more. If both teams make their shots, probably no more than a deuce, but definitely still scoring potential here, provided yellow doesn't make a double. Ooh, this one looks like it's a little wide. This might actually hit and get rid of the yellow. And does look like it leaves yellow sitting second shot. So not a complete disaster by any stretch. That yellow one's going to be difficult to get rid of. The only issue with that yellow one is it provides backing for red's counter. So even if you try to remove red's shot rock, it's a little more difficult now. There's possible jams, 3 different possible jams, depending on where you hit that red rock. Definitely ways to get rid of it too. Definitely holes that the red rock could go out in the back. And because it's still a possibility, red going to guard their shot rock. Shot coming in now actually does look a little heavy though. Should leave red sitting 1-2 if this will check up a little. Oh wow, it just goes, speaking of those holes, right through the hole. So Schenectady gonna have a chance to try and remove this red rock, which if they can do it cleanly and leave theirs, will make it difficult for red to get their deuce here. We're just starting Vice Rocks now. Sweeper's on this right away as they're playing the hit on the red rock. The angle you hit that red rock at is very important here. A lot of ways to get it out, but you have to hit it, one of the angles that works. This could be good. They could get it thin enough to get it over the top. Oh, did jam it on the back, yellow, which leaves it around. And again, unfortunate because yellow's sitting first and fourth.
Oh, we gotta toss that garlic bread.
So a couple options for red here. They could immediately hit the yellow rock and feel good about sitting 3. Only problem with that shot, everything's behind the tee line. Yellow has a very large pocket to shut all those red rocks out of the end by sitting on top of them. So instead, Orr is choosing to draw in, looks like top 4 in front of all that mess, get a rock that's counting and difficult to remove. If they're heavy, you still do have the back yellow to sit on, and it's certainly not a terrible result. It makes the other team make a shot. Looks like that's what's happening because this might be just a touch heavy. Sweepers are bringing it all the way. They're going to bring it and just tap back that yellow to sit 3. Yeah. All right. Red sitting 1, 2, 3. And a big shot here for Schenectady to get this end under control. Certainly have a good shot to do that. Sitting on that red or even tapping it slightly will make your yellow difficult to remove. But certainly an important shot in this end. And the rock's away. Sweepers are off as we watch it come down the sheet here. Looks like it might be a bit wide. If the weight's good, it could work, but it looks like it's a little heavy. Probably going to remove the back red. Probably, maybe not. I think it moved that back red to 4th rock. So yellow now sitting 3rd, red sitting 1, 2. And they're going to take a look at it. From our camera angle, it looks like yellow is certainly 3rd. We're not going to worry about that, though. They want to put something up to prevent another attempt at a freeze here on the counter. So red already sitting 2. Chance to sit 3 here. We're getting later in the end. This is the last Vice Rock, and we're going to be on the Skip Rocks next. But still plenty of opportunity for Schenectady to work their way out of trouble here. Mostly because all those rocks are behind the tee line. So any freeze will shut out a lot of red scoring potential. Could even set up a steal. Final Vice Rock coming in. This could be nice if it'll stay above the tee line. And looks like we're just going to cover the pin. Oh, just behind the tee. So red sitting 3 again. But a lot of opportunities here for yellow to go down there and freeze. Get the end back under control. Limit how much damage red can do. A perfect freeze on the red counter would be just covering the pin here, in fact. Might set up a steal. But really, even like a freeze on that one in the back four would go a long way to helping yellow avoid giving up a very big end. Rock is away. Sweepers are staying with it, but no brushing yet. Looks like it has some curling to do from here. May get to that. Now there is another option here. I don't know if they see it. It is slowing down enough. Okay, as there was the opportunity. You could try to wick off the outside red. They do hit. They do bounce off one red. Leave that yellow sitting second. And a couple options here for Or. This is an interesting spot because they could remove the yellow and sit four and really look to put the game away early. But it looks like they're going to take the what probably is the more prudent play here. Put a rock up in front of their red that's sitting right on the back of the button. They're looking to put it just top four, which is fine. All the way down to theirs is even fine because it would cover the button and they'd sit 1-2, giving them an excellent chance to get their deuce. A top four really is a good spot. That way any hit, if yellow was to hit and stay, would leave them room to draw a second one in for their second point.
Crap.
All right, shots away here. Line a little bit more important than weight, although you do not want to be very late and leave a center line guard. They could draw around and completely shut down the end and pretty much clinch a steal. So you want to make sure it gets there, gets to the house. This looks like they're losing the line a little bit. So they may just be drawing in another counter. If they can bring this in, get a bite of the four. Yeah, that's a fine result. In fact, it even moves that yellow. I think that yellow is still third rock. But does leave red sitting 1-2. The downside is if yellow can, we do not have a telestrator yet. If we had a telestrator, I'd say we could illustrate this, but yeah, yellow rock sitting on the inside corner of either of those two rocks will be pretty much impossible to get rid of. And they're going to try, of course, to just dead nose freeze to the red that's sitting there on the back of the button. But even if you're on the right side of the rock, it's not going to go anywhere because of the other red rock. You'll be frozen in there, and red will struggle to score. If you're corner frozen, they might be able to get one just by nosing it. If you're dead frozen, you've pretty much stolen, barring a very big weight hit to pick it out. Final rock away for Schenectady. Sweepers off this one again might be just a little bit up on the weight. A little tap's not the end of the world if that's what they get. They also, as we said, could end up... Oh, no, they don't want to go right through the hole, though. Don't want to go right through. Okay. Not what they were looking for, but not the worst result. There's no shot here for red to just score, 4 or 5. They're going to be able to draw for 3, though, with that yellow sitting, resting on the back, red behind the 4-foot. Those two red rocks that are one fully in the 4-foot, one still with a pretty good bite there are going to definitely end this end 1-2 unless Or accidentally moves one of them. So now it's just a matter of drawing the 4-foot. You get about a quarter rock in the 4-foot and you'll get your 3. Okay, final rock at the end away. It's super staying off it. Looks like the ice must be moving pretty good. They do have backing in the form of that yellow rock in the back 4-foot, if this will move past their red. I don't think they're going to make anything any worse, but this might just touch their red and leave them. Okay, yeah. Lands on their back red. Doesn't make things any worse. The shooter just replaces the rock that was in there. Red's going to take their 2. It looks like they are looking at the second shot. I believe it's red. From the overhead camera, it certainly looks like red. Could be a measure here. Yep, looks like they're being careful with their... Oh, nope, they kicked the rock, so it's going to be 2 for red there. So still a very good end for Team Or. Get their deuce and take a 3-1 lead heading into the 4th end. Okay, so now we're back to the warm room houses with them, not reversed. So you're seeing, sort of the true to life side that people are throwing on. We reverse it for other reasons that aren't worth getting into sometimes. But for now, you're now looking at the houses as they appear in real life. And Team Or throwing their first rock, looking for a centerline guard. Not so bad, covering a piece of the forefoot. A little bit off the center line, but it'll work. And Schenectady now looking to put a rock in very close to the house. On or near the center line, looks like it was the call. Quick updates on the other sheets. On sheet A, the Cousins team from Broomstones looks like they stole one in the 3rd to make it a 5-0 game after 3 ends over the team from Plainfield. And on sheet C, our team from Philadelphia still with a 3-1 lead, but Team Goldstein did take 1 in the 3rd to get on the board, so 2-point game on sheet C. All right, this rock for Schenectady just gonna slip into the house to the top of the forefoot, just biting the top of the 4. Not quite under the guard, but I think it's like edge to edge there. Not so easy to get rid of. And looks like Or is just going to play freeze, come down to it. Sweepers on this one as they're trying to get it there. Don't necessarily want to leave a guard, especially if the guard goes off the center line, which it is. So it looks like it might go far enough that it's not guarding the yellow rock either, so not as harmful. So good, did give a little more coverage to that yellow rock. And looks like Schenectady going to throw another nice tight guard here. Make sure they secure that yellow rock that's just off the center line, the top 4. Play for their deuce later in the end. So it might be just a touch heavy. Could work out just fine, especially if it just taps this slightly. And okay, almost a freeze to that rock. Now, if you could throw the weight, you might be able to see all that rock and hit it right on the nose and get rid of the 2 yellows. And it looks like that's what the skip's calling for a good amount of weight. Wants to get rid of 1 and possibly both here, depending on how they hit this rock. Sweepers on it all the way. Looks like it could be into those guards out front. Sweeper's off now, and yeah, we're just going to peel the top guard. Open up those 2 yellows for the moment. I have a feeling, though, Schenectady probably just going to guard their 2 now, generally speaking. And yeah, Dorothy calling for a biter, so that with the hammer they'll be sitting 3, but still using that next rock as a guard. Generally speaking, with the hammer, you're not going to be throwing a lot of center guards. Don't want to clog up the middle. Here, where they're already sitting two, there's not an easy path into the button. Makes some sense, especially if you make it a tight guard. Makes it hard to draw around. High guard might still not be good because you could potentially draw around everything to the button for ore. But something that's just biting the top of the 12 would work out real nicely here.
Although you'll be jealous.
Really?
This one's going to come in a little heavy too, but it will leave them sitting 3. Not so heavy that it's going to move anything around. Yellow now sitting 3.
Thank you, though.
And we're going to look to try to get rid of at least one rock to start to get this end under control a bit before yellow threatens a really big end. But so far, this end's shaping up very well for the team from Schenectady. Just not easy to get rid of all those yellow rocks. Not easy to find a place for red to sit and count. Plenty of time to get out of trouble, though. And this one should, well, rattles the yellows a little bit. Doesn't get rid of them. So close, but not the result they were looking for. And Dorothy now going to look to guard here. 3. And actually, now all 3 of her rocks are off the center line, meaning there's not even a way to get around them for red and, you know, cover the button or threaten a steal, really. So a nice tight guard here could make it very hard to hit any of those 3 yellows, and still not leave a come around that would outcount that yellow that's just biting the forefoot. This one again looks just a touch hot. Gonna play a little tap instead of the guard. It'll work out fine because this yellow won't be in a place where you can hit it and count. Yellow now sitting 4.
Oh, these are good.
So the rocks piling up for Schenectady in this end. Still time for Ore to find her way out of trouble, but they're going to take a little time to talk about this shot. They don't want to let things get any worse in the house. They really want to make sure they get something out of this shot. You can start to get out of trouble even by hitting that yellow that's on the center line and rolling towards the other ones. You might sit 3rd, which is, you know, maybe not the ideal result, but in the end overall, I mean, but certainly better than the situation sits now, and set you up to limit the damage later. Sweeper's off this again. Looks like it might just be going wide. She will get a piece of the yellow. Can they remove anything? Maybe that yellow is out of there. Okay. So that red rock does sit 4th, but they did remove a yellow. Yellow's still sitting 3. And Schenectady going to try to place a guard that protects their rock that's on the forefoot, because red's best way out of the end now would be to just freeze or lightly tap on that yellow rock, which would outcount the other 2. Yellows pretty much take them out of the end. So Dorothy looking to take that shot away. Sweepers are on this one. They just want this to be in the top of the house. Perfect would be just outcounting the red on the side, and it looks like that's what they got. Very nice shot. Perfect weight. Takes away the draw or hit down to the counting yellow. Couldn't ask for much better. The Timor has a few options. Looks like they're going to just try to hit that front one and maybe see if they can get rid of a couple of yellows here. This makes a lot of sense. If you wanted to play very aggressively, you could try to come around everything and come around that one in the top 12, maybe to the back 8. So, well, this is, they played the hit instead, which is a little bit safer play, and while they caught the guard, that's not the result they were looking for. It does open up a lot of shots for red on their next attempt. They're basically going to have their pick of yellow rocks that they can play at, and have more ways to get something in there that'll at least limit the damage, maybe sit the second or third shot.
No, I got it. Good.
Yellow coming down to the house again. Might just do enough to sit 5. Very close, but if you look at the overhead, looks like tough to say. It doesn't matter too much at this moment. The placement of the rock is more important. The worst rock for yellow to give access to would be that one on the 4 foot, of course. So they're going to be happy with where that rock ended up, counting or not. But yellow's sitting there 4 or 5, and no easy solutions for red. Or we're going to try to hit here and remove a couple. Yellows, again, pretty much since the second rocks, the order of the day here has been for damage control. Make sure you don't give up so many that you're in a real tough spot on the scoreboard overall. It's still early enough in the game that if you give up 3 or 4, not ideal, but not the end of the world. Can't give up 5 or 6 though. That would be a lot more trouble.
Yeah. You could do a triple there.
Joel Lineker in the warm room calling for the triple here on B. I think they are going to try to get rid of. They're looking at how to get rid of as many rocks as they can. That's also, yep, you could play the center line one right into the shot rack. The one they're looking at is pretty easy too. You're just not going to hit the shot rock. You're going to hit the, right, but they're all shot rocks right now, so anything you get rid of is pretty good. And your shot's not going to outcount anything on the double, so if you can get rid of any 2, you're in much better shape than you were before this shot. Hits away. Looks like there's a lot of weight on this one.
Heater.
Might be a little outside. Should make contact with something. Oh, yeah. Could get 2. Oh, so close to the double. Did move that rock off the 4 foot, but removed 1.
They have more chance to draw now.
Absolutely. Joel points out definitely an easier shot for red on their last rock if they decide that their only hope is to try to steal and draw in there. Now they have a couple ways to get in. Yellow sitting 4 has to be pretty happy here, though, with only 2 rocks left. Schenectady deciding where they want to put this last rock. Well, first skip's rock. Really, you can't take everything away from red. And while it's tough to curl around that center guard, because it is not even really calling it a guard, it's biting the top 8. It's possible, and if they did that, that would give red a chance to get out of trouble entirely.
Rattle the bones.
You could rattle the bones. Joel's calling for rattle the bones. Rattle the bones, one of the games at Joel's Greenhorn Spooktacular next week.
Right. Along with Carve the Pumpkin and Haunted House. Come on down.
I think if you're going to guard one side, I'd actually guard what we're looking at, the bottom side of the screen. Because you take away the hit and roll too. Right now, red also has the opportunity to hit that yellow in the top 8, roll behind the topmost yellow, and make Schenectady make a tough shot on their last 2 and get a big end.
Haunted House.
But it's also good if you come on the other side to the top 8, of course. Let's see, rocks away. Sweepers off. They're jogging a little bit, might be a little bit up. It looks like a good draw weight, if nothing else. Just touch heavy. Touch heavy to tap it in. Yeah, have some opportunities for red here. They looks like when with the discussion going on here at potentially playing a freeze, but I like this call better. Hit and roll behind the yellows on the right side of the house. Could potentially even hit off this, freeze to shot rock, and now have a chance to steal the end, let alone limit the damage. Doesn't need, if she's going to play the hit and roll, doesn't need a ton of weight, just need to move that enough to get the roll. Over on sheet A, the Plainfield team did take 2 in the 4th end, so Broomstones now leads 5-2 after 4 ends in the 2nd event final. Here on C, it looks like the Philly team just took a couple to extend their lead to 5-1 on a nice draw. Yep, red's last shot away here on sheet B. Looking to just play a soft tap, I think. Get to the inside of that yellow, and it's gonna it's close.
Get it? Get it? I think
Well, red is counting. Red's not covered, but they're almost edge to edge with that front yellow. It's not so easy. It's easy to get this wrong. Yellow has a chance for a big end. Could also just hit it on the outside, and so didn't leave him an easy shot for the big end. Definitely left yellow an opportunity to get a big end, but not a gimme. Got to get to nose. Can't hit it at all on the outside of the rock. Just slightly off, you'll still get probably 3, but any real angle at all, and you could jam, absolutely. Yeah. Shots away. Sweeper's waiting for it to curl. It's running very straight. Trying to move. There's chances it could get by this one. That could still be very good. Gets a partial jam, but it rolls the red one to the back, and yellow will sit. It looks like 3, could be 4. Maybe a measure for the 4th. They're looking at it now. Nope, they moved the rocks. I don't know if it was. What do we think over there? Was it 3 or 4? I think it was 4 up. We have dissenting opinions here from behind the glass on sheet B. What? I think it was 3. Whatever it was, it must not have been super close because they look close from here. But so very nice shot there for Schenectady to take the lead here. Once they put up the score, we'll tell you if it was 3 or 4. But Schenectady certainly
We got a game.
takes it. Takes the lead by 1 or 2 rocks, and yeah, halfway through. A very tight game here in our A event final. That's right, GNCC Senior Women's Championship 2018. It's possibly a spooktacular, I'm hearing from the warm room, yeah. We do have some Halloween decorations up, some very nice, sort of a mix of fall and Halloween decorations. It's a very good looking warm room.
Carve the pumpkin coming up, rattle the bones, and haunted house. When you least expect it.
All right, score going up now, and it was 4, so 5-3 for Schenectady. At the halfway point. So Ian Alexander points out the second mic isn't on. That's because there's only one person on the commentary today, Ian. So the second mic is on its hook over by the computer on the wall.
Isn't that Ian's wife right here playing?
I believe you're right. Yeah, playing in the third event final here, and they're doing quite well. They're up 5-1 after 4 ends.
It was 4.
It was 4 on B.
On B. Lay down 4.
Okay, lead rocks here on sheet B, or already sitting 1, looking to split the house, sit 2, set up a... They're going to wick off, sit 1-2. This one's probably rolling to the back of the house. Slips right to the back 4, but does leave red sitting 1-2. We'll see how Schenectady wants to deal with this. They could play the hit, they could play the freeze. Looks like, based on the way she was motioning her broom, I think Dorothy's calling for a lightweight hit. Looking for about 2 feet of curl here. That's a little less than we're getting on our draws, so I think she's looking to remove this rock without too much weight. So maybe just a little too much weight or broom, and that one sails by the red counter. And or gonna look to put something up top 12 on the center line. prevent another attempt at that shot rock.
What comes rolling in after this?
Probably college.
Yeah, later in the afternoon we have the college. This one also just a bit heavy, though it should leave all the red rocks in play.
Dave Esposito says, "You want to practice tonight at 8?"
Bumps the former shot rock back to the back 12, leaves theirs on the back 4-foot. And again, Schenectady going to look to get rid of that red counter without throwing a ton of weight. Sweeper's on this one. It'll get there. The question is, will it? I think she wanted to move the rock based on what she was showing, and well, should have plenty of weight. Might even get a nice roll out of this if they... Oh, and removed it and stays shot in the back. Nice throw there. It looks like yellow's shot. Hard to tell from the overhead camera. It looks like you might be able to get to that yellow, but it'd be difficult. It's probably partially covered for even a right-handed deliverer. So instead, with so many rocks in play, or rather than chase that yellow rock to try to bring her current red rocks back into scoring, just going to go behind the corner guard, try to reset here, set up again to score a multiple. If you bury something behind those yellow rocks on the right side of the house, then you're in great shape to get your 2 again. Looks like the line on this one might be just a little tight. We're coming up on the guard fast. And yep, just leaves another corner guard.
Yeah.
Still or not in terrible shape here with all the play away from the center line. The team with the hammer can't be too unhappy. And there's still a lot of scoring potential. But Schenectady going to try to change that by putting up something in the top of the house on the center line to try to draw the play back towards the 4-foot. Sweeper's just walking along. This one might be just a touch heavy. They're signaling it might be in the back. It's going to slow down, but will it stay as a second counter? Going to be close. Just slipping to the back of the house and out by about a foot. All right, so or changing tactics here. They're going to actually try to go after that yellow rock as the end is coming to a close. Round of ice rocks. Well, looks like they're going to try to come from the inside. Just get enough curl to just touch that yellow rock. If they can get by their front red and just touch that yellow, move it, I don't know, 3 to 6 inches, they'll be sitting 3 again. And even if they draw around, sit on their back red, that'll be enough to get a counter. You could potentially split the front red. You could potentially tap back the front red. All of these things could leave you in position to score. In fact, they might get the little split here to sit 2. Definitely sitting 1. Unclear if they're second shot also, but not a bad result. Does leave that counter wide open on the center line. We'll see if Schenectady can make this hit and maybe roll to somewhere advantageous. There are a couple places they could hide, sit 1-2, and really start to make it tough on Orr to score a deuce here. And even a nose hit's pretty good. They might actually get the double here. Oh, nope, did overcurl. Got the shot rock, though, out of there. So got the primary job done. Or I believe still playing to that back yellow, trying to get there. Looks like it's going to be a tap instead, although that could work too. You could tap the red back onto the yellow. Not a bad rock at all. Tap theirs right to the tee line. Open, but not so easy to remove. If you nose the red, of course, it jams right on the back yellow. And that, of course, is no good for Schenectady. The problem with hitting on the outside is yours rolls away, opening up your back yellow. So really the only, if you want to play the hit, you kind of have to hit it on the inside of the rock, roll towards the center line, be sitting 1-2, so that you're not as afraid of that hit on the back yellow. They are playing the hit. Sweepers are on it all the way. Trying to hold the line. Looks like it's close. I think they are going to catch the top red, though. Removes that top red from play. Does leave red sitting 1. And Orr with a couple of options here on how they want to play this. They could still try to do something with that back yellow, though it's tough to get to now. Probably more likely they'll just throw a split, sit 1-2. I imagine. Looks like that's what they're pointing at now. Oh no, they're... Yeah, it looks like they're just looking to sit another one on the 8-foot on the other side. Leave an open hit, but then have a draw or an open hit for 2 themselves on their final rock.
Okay, great. I'll see if we can't figure out how to have you as guests. No.
So Timor from the Green Mountain Curling Club.
You know how cheap those people are.
Based on the handle she's throwing, looks like might be more of a guard on the counter here. Decided to play to the same side as their current red rock.
They didn't have enough rooms. I would have loved to have had it that.
Still looking to sit here to make this here and sit 2.
But they didn't have enough rooms because they had
Sweepers are on it all the way. For weight, looks like the line's right there. If they can get it down to that one. And they do want to sit second shot. They've got to go. It is close. From our overhead view, I can't tell if they're sitting second or not. Definitely works as a guard on the counter, though, either way. And looks like Schenectady is going to look to maybe play to corner that counting red.
Oh, was he?
This call makes me think it's more likely that the front red is not the second shot, that the back yellow is still second, because they're, Schenectady clearly looking to set up a steal here by freezing, and they might be less inclined to do that if red was already sitting 2 and threatening to get 3. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm right about that. You could certainly play aggressively even if red was sitting 2. But that's just my instinct here, is that if they're playing this freeze, it probably means that red's only sitting 1 right now.
Really nice draw. Oh,
Beautiful draw on sheet C.
might not have outcounted that yellow.
I'm just looking real close on the overhead. It is very close. Excuse me, I think yellow's still second shot.
But there's no way
Yeah, beautiful draw there on C. Without hammer, really shut down the scoring there. All right, yellow's final rock here on B coming up just a little late. And it looks like if red was not sitting 2 before, I am pretty sure they are now. Red looks like they're sitting 1-2, and or we'll have a draw for 3 on her final shot. Because only the hammer remains. So good attempt on yellow's final rock. Came up maybe 4 feet short of getting the freeze they wanted, instead tapping the front red. So over on sheet A, in our second event final, looks like the Plainfield team stole 3 in the 5th to tie the game at 5. So 5-5, and they're playing the 6th end right now. On our feature sheet, we have a draw for 3 to give Orr a chance to retake the lead here. Already sitting 2. Orr signal, draw is heavy.
It's heavy.
Based on a signal. If it'll curl a bit, there is backing.
Oh, it's a flasher.
It is slowing down. It's trying to get to that backing. I might just get there to count. Oh, no, just needed to curl up another couple inches. It was just a little bit too heavy to use the backing. Believe that's going to leave red sitting 2 and give us a 5-5 tie in our feature game as well. They're looking at it, but it does look like red's second shot. Yeah, and they're moving the rocks, so 2 for red in the 5th makes it a 5-5 game heading to the 6th, with Schenectady having the hammer. As we cube zoom you back to the near houses for the 6th end. There we go with the cube zoom. Very exciting technology we have here. All right. So we're all tied up at 5 after 5 ends. Very exciting game here for our A event final at the GNCC Women's Senior Bonspiel.
It's a battle.
Joel really still trying to sell the spooktacular idea here in the warm room.
We're decked out. No costumes on the ice.
So these are the final 6 teams in action. I believe we had 18 teams for the Bonspiel this weekend. So yeah, nice turnout. Yeah, they've been curling since Friday morning.
And we got nice curl on sheet B.
Beautiful first rock in there for Team Orr. May have been looking based on the reaction for a centerline guard, but that is a great alternative. Sitting at top button. Dorothy going to throw a hit on her first rock. Super's watching. It might be just wide of hitting that red rock. Yeah, just missed it by an inch. Okay, so Orr now has the rock top 4, and they're going to look to guard it. Play to steal here in 6. We're seeing a lot of excellent draw weight here in these finals. You can see it on the screen there, over there on sheet C on your left, the beautiful come around right to the top of the button.
Berlin. Nice people have done it.
Okay, Orr did not get their center line guard, but they are going to put a second one in here. Yeah, wonderful job by the Nutmeg Ice crew to set up the ice conditions for this weekend, and really for the last few weeks after we got our ice in. There are always some challenges like day 1 when the ice goes in, and it was a very quick turnaround from, you know, figuring out what was going on and then just having excellent ice for the last few weeks.
Jeez.
Yep, some very nice curling here on sheet C.
Battle of the Bones. Dorothy's throwing it out. Deadly Dorothy chucking it out.
And this one, they're going to make the hit on the shot rock here. Yeah, this might just be right on the nose. Yep. Nose hit from Dorothy to leave yellow sitting 1. Now it might be Orr looking to hit, roll away a little bit, and try to set up a force if they can keep 2 red rocks in play.
Hit it. Pop that red right out of there. Split. Like 12. Give him something to shoot at.
Super saying off this one. Looks like they should make contact with the rock. It'll curl up just a little. Will they keep their shooter? Yeah, that's going to be okay. Very nice shot. Had a good controlled weight there. Gave it a little bit of curl and able to stick around. So right now we have the teams exchanging hits on the shot rock here.
We got a jingle coming.
And
we got a jingle. Rattle the bones. Got a little bone rattling going on.
Schenectady now looking to hit back and sit 1. Could be a little bit narrow there, sweeping hard. If it is narrow, it's still going to hit the outside red, so they'll get something out of this, but could actually get both. They almost got both. Did move the second rock back a bit. Left theirs around, so
Got a good weight on Lee's shot.
Did enough to at least make this a decision for Team Orr. They're going to go to guard their rock and play to steal.
Nice shot, Lee.
The other option would be to hit the open yellow and
Two peeps.
play for the force, but looks like they're opting to play for the steal here.
Go for it.
And be looking for something either, looked like they pointed to like top 12 or a biter. This coming in heavy. If it makes contact, could leave them sitting 1-2, which would be fine too.
Split.
This one's just going to be almost a straight tap back. We'll leave red sitting 1-2.
All about clean release coming up here.
So on B we have red counting 2, but potentially a double here. It's played just off nose either way on this hit. you probably get rid of both reds. Super letting this one go. Looks like it might just be a little outside. Could tick the back one. No, went right by. So now red's sitting 2, or definitely looking for a guard here to guard her 2 and put some pressure on Schenectady. Shots away. Sweeper is off again. I'm going to say the ice is probably fast because the mistakes have generally been heavy as opposed to light.
They wanted fast ice. They got fast ice.
Hey, everyone likes fast ice. It's just...
It's all about the weight now, people.
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be another little tap. These have not been extremely heavy by any means. It's just a little more than they wanted. Leaves red sitting 3.
Carving the pumpkin around that red, going into the button. Carving that pumpkin.
Very nice shot again on C. If we froze right to that top. Right to the counting yellow.
All right. Hit this red flop over.
So on C, a very nice red rock there just to freeze to the yellow on the button because it's going to make it very hard for yellow to build up a big end now. That red rock's going nowhere, the one that's on like the top of the 4-foot. And with the Philadelphia team leading 7-1, they're happy just to hold yellow to 1 or maybe 2. Okay, shots away here on B. Looking to play a little hit on that red. If it goes, just gets a piece of it. Unfortunate miss there. I'm going to roll to the back of the house, leaving red still sitting 3. Needed to either hit that thicker or go by and sit on the back 2 reds.
Field goal here. Pop over onto the red. Pop red off.
Okay, Green Mountain. Looking again to put something just in the front of the house here to guard their shot rocks.
Look, ladies.
Sweeper's really going on this one. They feel like it's a little bit lighter than they wanted. Really digging though. Line looks good. It may not get out of the get to the house, and it's not going to, but it does make the hits on the back reds harder. Red in pretty good shape here to force. Well, not yet. There's a lot of rocks in the back of the house. Red in pretty good shape to not give up a huge end though, with sitting 1, 2, 3. Going to take a lot of work before yellow can get rid of all those red rocks. Yellow rock already away. Looks like they are playing down to the back 2. Just leave it on the overhead, and they clip that guard, so the guard does its job. Yellow will roll that on the rings, so if there is a red miss, then another beautiful draw here on sheet C. The thing is, as we have a moment here on the near C house with red up 7-1, it's actually a great situation for red because yellow has the hammer, but it's very hard for them to find a way to score 2 even. With those 2 red rocks just covering the top of the 4-foot. So, very nice setup for red. Yeah, especially given the scoreboard. Yeah, yellow probably looks like they are looking to rattle those a little bit. As Joel would say, to rattle the bones on C. Only because they have to if they're going to score more than 1, and there's not much use in scoring 1, so they have to loosen things up a bit. Back in our feature sheet, red going to put another rock in here.
Yes, rattle the bones.
Another excellent shot if you saw that on C to open things up. Red sitting 1, but now yellow sitting 2nd and 3rd, so now they're potentially in business for a bigger end. All right. Red Rock coming in here. They want it top 8. Looks like it might be just a bit more than that. Nope, slowing down nicely. Gonna be a beautiful rock.
Oh, good rock. Plus, the button is open.
The button's open. They
Red backing.
by making that shot, they've pretty much made it impossible for Yellow to get more than 2 here. You're not getting rid of all those red rocks now.
No.
So even with all those yellow hangers on, are not gonna end up
It's called
mattering.
the haunted house. Was that the team name?
Yeah.
So now the question for Yellow is, they do still have full access to the 4-foot here on B. Should be able to get their 1, but is there a way to set up a deuce? They might try to freeze to the back reds and then challenge red to make a freeze back to stop them from getting 2. That's one way of doing it. Try to tuck a corner under that front red. Make it a more difficult takeout.
It's curling, people. It's curling. It's curling hard.
No, it did lose its handle, and oh boy, that's if it loses the handle one more time and it can sit on the back.
Oh, losing the handle.
Oh, it just lost its handle halfway down and had the weight that went back to the back 12. Joel just called that the haunted house. He's, really branding well here today.
We are.
Good job, Joel. But yeah, unfortunate to lose handle. Didn't have the exact shot she was looking for, but probably would have got something useful out of it had it not lost handle, so that is unfortunate. Either, wasn't sure exactly what the line looked like, but either you would have tapped the front red or sat on the back
So what's
reds.
the lesson? Grip and release. Do those grip and release drills, people. Get that toilet paper handle out.
Looking around to the action on other sheets. Sheet A is ahead of the other 2 games just a little bit. They're now playing the 7th. Cousins from Broomstones did take 1 with the hammer in the 6th to regain a 6-5 lead over there.
Tight games in A and B.
All right. Final shot for red away on B. Just looking to cut off some access to the 4-foot here, but it might be a little heavy. Close.
Baby curl. Look at it go.
It's close. This is a good rock. So
Excited.
now they have to go. Wow, it really lost some weight
On
there
that
late.
zone.
Good enough to sit 5, and
House is open.
big shot in the game here. Schenectady has a shot for 1. Definitely a very makeable draw for 1.
Yep.
They have the full 4-foot to draw to. Even have a little bit of backing if
Something
it gets
cut off
there.
that red.
But
Whoa, whoa.
if you're heavy or light, there's the
What are we doing? What are we
and I'm not sure. I guess they're not playing the draw. They're going to play a little hit and roll here. Now, you hit and knows you're close to scoring 1 here. This is, if she feels confident about this line, it's a
haunted house.
this playing it very, very safe. Does not want to give up 5. Saw what happened to her last draw and might be a little spooked, would you say, Joel?
Yeah.
See, Joel looking.
Very good.
You're infecting us all with the spectacular. So instead playing the hit, you nose it, you give up 1.
Balls over top of this house.
You get it all to the inside of that rock, you'll get your 1 this way as well.
What are you doing over here? Joanna, get out there and fix this. Do it.
All right, do or die here though. Has to make the shot, or they're in a lot of trouble. They are sweeping hard.
They're digging. They're digging.
They're digging hard. It's close.
Digging. You got digging.
I think they're by the. I think they got it, and hit and roll for 1. Excellent shot there.
Take that from
Critical shot from
critical
Yellow.
shot. Skinny the-
Gets her 1 to take a 6-5 lead for Schenectady heading into the 7th end.
That was gutsy. The haunted house was tamed.
Yeah, they had all the
Blouse ladies.
All right, great first event final here at the GNCC Senior Women's 6-5 game with 2 ends to play. Red down one with the hammer. That's Orr from Green Mountain. Yellow looking for a center line guard. Doesn't quite get it, but gets a very usable rock. Very tight to the rings there. But Orr is going to try to use it by coming right around there.
This might be an opportune time for me to go to the bathroom.
So critical end here.
Oh, it says men now. See that?
Red really going to want to get at least 2 here if they're going to give back the hammer for the 8th end. Okay, they come up short there, but they do get another corner guard. Way on the outside, but certainly could come into play later in the end. Nice shot on sheet C by Team Goldstein. We're not sure if they scored 2 or 3. It's close. Yeah. We'll see when the scores go up. May not have been as close out on the ice as it looked from the warm room because they didn't measure and they were pretty quick to move the rocks, but I couldn't tell from here. It looked like it was very close. Yeah, really well played end on C, where they actually played one shot that took them from counting to not counting, just to make sure they left the potential for a big end open, which sometimes you won't see every skip do. But Yo looked like they were locked into just getting a single and playing a tap to loosen things up allowed them to make a nice shot at the end of the end to get their multiple point end and put them back in the game a bit. We'll let you know what they got once they put the scores up there. Back on B, they were looking for a center line guard, I believe, but got one on the button for the Schenectady team. Or now playing the hit. Looks like it's just going to sail by on the left side here. Didn't quite have the line. And now Schenectady could look to play for a steal here.
I don't mean to be the crabby person, but the people that put the storage rack in the handicapped wheelchair access toilet that now doesn't make it compliant, put the Yale broom bag on there. Yellow only took 3 here in C.
Yeah, they did. All right, back with commentary for the 7th end. Mark, if you're looking for the score on sheet C, it's 7-4 Philadelphia over Albany.
No, Philadelphia. Philadelphia played.
Yeah, sheet A 7-5 going to the 8th with Broomstones Cousins having the lead and the team from Plainfield down 2 with the hammer as they head into their final end. And here on B, it's a 6-5 game as we head into the 7th here. I'm about midway through the 7th now. And we have Team Orr down 1, but with the hammer. And sitting 1 in the top 4. Although we have a nice attempted run back here. Oh, just misses the run back.
What did I do?
Leaves red sitting 1. Okay, Orr sitting 1, top 4. If they can keep this situation until the final shot at the end, they'll have a good clean draw for 2. Looks like they might be looking to put up a guard here.
It was clean when I was president.
I'm not. You did it. I know. Good job. Remember that red carpet?
Right, we had it 3 times.
Couldn't stand that. I was like, we are not putting another rolled carpet down here. Doing carpet tiles.
This might actually slip in as a second counter right through that tiny hole.
Like what? Bill Brodigan and who else?
Leaves a second counter, both of them top 4, and now leaves a challenge for the Schenectady team of how not to give up at least 2 here. Not sure there's an easy path to the button. Could remove a rock and make it difficult too.
Wide open here.
Could also draw around, sit 3rd, or possibly even 2nd if you hit it just right. Excuse me.
Just that side of the yellow, double it off, and roll behind your corner. Gotta hit something. Right?
And of course the run back's possible too. It looks like Schenectady here looking at all the options before they make a decision on this critical shot.
Oh, no.
Is the spook over there now?
Oh.
The ghost? The lost handle?
Oh, it was the good witch.
Lost the handle again?
Double.
Yeah, the double.
With a lost handle?
With a lost handle, so, you know.
Ooh.
I don't think that was the,
Ding through it.
All right, a lot of discussion here on B as to what exactly Yellow is going to call here. Looks like they're looking at playing that run back. Run the yellow straight into the red. You make it, you might sit 1. Even if you don't make it just right, you might sit 2nd and make it very difficult for red to get their deuce. Big shot here coming up. On B or A or C?
On C. Where are they throwing it?
They're down 3. I imagine they're looking to sit another one.
I would think. Deep. Deep. Way behind. Oh, they're playing the guard, but via the crash.
So, decent plan B, but on sheet C here, he saw that one come in. Caught the guard, but left the guard of their own, protecting their shot rack. Okay, run back attempt coming in here on B. Yeah, it looks like it's just going to catch a piece of the rock. Will it catch the outside red? Not enough. Almost got the run on the outside red. Going to leave red sitting 2 with a draw for 3.
We are.
So barring disaster, or will go to the 8th with the lead. It's a question of whether it'll be a 1 or 2 point lead. He has a draw for 3, just needs to hit the house.
Rock here.
Over on sheet C, we have a draw for 1 here for red, which would just about put the game away. They'd be up 4 going to the 8th if they can make this draw.
She's floating it.
Could be just a little
Floater.
heavy.
It's going to be 2 yellow.
Will it be 1 or 2 yellow? It's gonna.
Yellow has crawled back.
It is gonna be 2 yellow,
Oh.
which makes it a 7-6 game going to the 8th on sheet C, with Philadelphia still having the 1 point lead and the hammer. All right, draw for 3 coming in on sheet B. Sweepers are off it, just cleaning. Looks pretty close.
Open for B, for red.
Needs to slow down just a touch. It may catch a bit of that back red, which will help it out too. No, it goes just by. Oh, and through. Almost caught that piece she needed of the back red. Still 2 for red. Red will take a 7-6 lead going to the 8th. But Schenectady will have hammer down 1.
Games here. They want those.
Glasses, you know, piped on.
You gotta
All right, so all 3 games going to the 8th end or already in the 8th end. We'll leave the camera down here for you guys. So whatever game you're interested in, you'll be able to see the critical final shots.
Who's been in this cookie tray? Supposed to be for our guests. Our guest curlers.
All right, good tight center line guard to start the end for Team Orr. Up 1 in the 8th. They can't be too conservative, but don't want to go crazy either. They don't need to steal, but they need to force. Can't give up 2, of course. Naturally, a steal's even better since that wins the game for them. Schenectady, on the other hand, likely to really try to get their 2 here, so they don't have to go to an extra end and have to steal to win the game. In a game where I don't believe there have been any steals. The hammer has scored in every end. And comes up just a little short, leaves another center line guard. I'd be... Okay, we're going to throw another center line guard, also fine. Thought they might come around, but another tight guard is good. Of these 3 games, the one closest to the finish now is on sheet A. That's on the right side of your screen. As we said, red up 2. Yellow has the hammer. Red counting 1 right now, and looks like just 3 rocks left to go. Yellow's first skip rock coming in. Red looks like they're counting 2, excuse me, on A. Okay, red does end up coming around those 2 guards. Goes to the back of the 4-foot.
Right, Rick? Right?
Another draw coming in here this time for Schenectady. If they can just sneak by those guards. Oh, just caught the guard.
Oh.
A matter of millimeters there from getting by the guard. Yellow will sit 1, but it is open, and red will likely just hit. They
Getting too tricky. What's this, a Jingle the Bones?
No,
Skeleton?
red will be happy just to get rid of yellow rocks, I think, here on B with a lead.
On C here.
Oh, we're looking. Yeah, we got 3 sheets of very tight action here, so everyone's attention is divided.
Albany team.
Yeah, on the left side of your screen, Albany looking to play a little tap-tap here
A
to...
little hot.
This is going to be pretty good when they transfer the weight twice, yeah. Well, yeah, a little hot still. But it will count 1.
But it's on.
And
They're set up for another
they're
tap.
still lined up for the tap later,
They're
yeah.
lined up for another Rattle the Bone.
Over there on the left side of your screen, yellow down 1 without hammer, so they are looking to steal to stay in the game. Okay. Have to take a look at the overhead on sheet B. That was light and just caught a piece. It's hard to say who's second. Red is first, but yellow could be second shot here. Maybe a little too early to worry about that with so many rocks still left to throw.
What would yellow be doing?
Looks like they called for the freeze down there onto the red that's on the back of the button.
That nice curl. They're carving that
Red
pumpkin.
looking to draw and to sit 1 here on C, and it looks like they came up just short. Yellow still counting in the back of the house there on C.
Bad one on A.
Yeah, Broomstones gets the win on A. Team Cousins winning the second event final here at the GNCC Senior Women's Bonspiel. Great game over there on A. Cousins had to lead most of the game, but a big comeback in the 4th and 5th ends made it very tight. So a good performance by Plainfield as well. In fact, all 3 finals ended up being very tight as we come down to the 8th end here. So still got games free on B and C.
Wearing it? Does he know he's wearing it? Like that tablecloth, Rick? We thought you went out there wearing it. Oh, this is too light. This is a crasher.
Okay, red. Looks like they may have been trying to get another one in here. They could still get something out of this if they hit and roll and get a guard up.
They left it open for Yellow Belly.
Yeah, it's you could definitely get in there.
What's going
You've
on?
made it hard. They've made it hard to play a direct hit. You could with lightweight, but definitely you could still draw down there, and I think that's what Dorothy's calling. Wants a draw right to that red that's on the back of the button.
Exactly.
Cover the
Stay
pin.
on the sweepers. Stay on the sweepers.
They want to cover the pin, sort of lock in their 1, and see if they can play for 2 later in the end.
Exactly. And look what we got here now. Yellow Belly. What's Yellow Belly trying to do?
I think could be another tap here on C.
They're going to crash and roll over and leave it open.
Well, no, I mean,
Curling hard.
Curling with
Oh,
some weight.
nice shot.
That
Look
will
at
be
that
nice.
shot.
Maybe a little more weight than they were looking for, but it came right in there, hit it out,
Wow.
and leaves yellow sitting at least one, possibly two. If you look at the overhead, look at the overhead, and it's tough to say who's second shot right now.
They just carved that pumpkin.
The round of applause as our second event winners and finalists come in to the warm room. Or calling for a slight tap here. Wants to move that yellow rock off the button, leave theirs on the top of the button with a lot of backing. They make this with, say, back 8 weight. They're going to be sitting one and have a ton of backing for their shot rock. This is close. Sweepers are on it. They're trying to get by the guard. They do. Hit it out. Maybe a touch more weight than they were looking for, but it worked out beautifully. Red again sitting at least one. And the later we get in the end, the more the question of whose second shot matters. Because yellow could be playing for one here or could be playing for two. It's hard to say right now. Every time we exchange these rocks. Yellow could very easily, if they play another hit here, they could very easily move that second red rock a little bit and make it clear who's sitting second. So may not end up being so dramatic as to who the second shot is by the end of the end. But right now, it's very hard to tell there.
They had two good carved pumpkins. What are we doing here now? Bellies, lighter weight than the last time.
Let's go back to the wide screen. On C, yellow looking to sit a second rock.
Yeah.
And this could be just dead perfect. If they just outcount them by a few inches, yeah, couldn't do much better than that.
Oh, good job. Give them a lollipop.
Philly right up to play the...
Yellow missed their opportunity.
Yeah, on B. Sorry, got distracted here looking at the game on C. On B, yellow missed it, and red's going to try to guard and really threaten to just win the game outright with a steal here. Red playing the hit on C. Philly here. And hit doesn't want to do the direct jam, but gets just enough of it to move that yellow to third shot.
Yellow in the back still shot. Right?
Yellow in the back is still shot. If we look at here, we can quickly look at the overhead here on C. Yellow in the back shot.
Red's trying to drop another bad boy in here.
And red second at the front. Red has some promising taps for their shot for one on C at the end of the end.
That draw.
And red drops another one in here.
Draw.
Think they were looking for the guard, but that's at least as good as the guard. That is an excellent result there on B. If we look at the house real quick, very difficult for yellow to score now. It's going to take a little work here. They've got 3 rocks left. They have time, but going to need a couple good shots to at least get their one and send it to an extra end on B.
Do they play extra end?
Yeah, extra ends for all the finals here.
That guard up high enough so that they can't run those reds back. Hanging on by a spider web.
Yellow, yeah, looking to just take away the tap-ups for red. Joel still doing his spectacular theming here. Branding.
Hanging on by a spider web.
We'll try to keep you abreast of the action in both of these games. Both very close and tight going here. Down to the final rocks. Key shot here for yellow. Last vice rock on B. For Schenectady.
Push, girls, push.
And the sweepers are sweeping hard. They really want to open up the center here.
Dig it.
Want to get in there. Got to get by the guard. They got by the guard. Can they get rid of both? Or, oh. Got rid of one. Moved out one of the front reds. Left it in the back 8.
Well, they got the rays. They got the yellow rays up there.
Yeah, the important thing is they at least got rid of one of the reds. That was the fact that it's in the back 8. It's given the score, that red doesn't matter so much anymore. At least red does have another chance to block it up though. That's what they're gonna do right away. Quick call. Just guard their 2 reds in the 4-foot. And
all right. All eyes are focusing over here on Halloween catch.
all right, quick look at our third event final. Again, red up by 1. Red being from Philadelphia in the third event final has the hammer, but yellow sitting one in the back, threatening to tie the game. And Philadelphia discussing their options. Could draw wide. There's definitely ways. They only need to get about, let's say full 8. You could definitely do that from the wide side. But we're looking at the first skips rock also, so there's still. They don't have to immediately play to score. They could look to open things up a bit. All right, guards away on B in our first event final. Or throwing a guard looking to protect that rock on the top 4 foot.
Looks heavy. Drop
This
it
one's
in.
coming into the house.
Coming in with that outstanding nutmeg curl.
Just plays a little bump. And that'll work out.
That works. What are we going to do here, Yellow Belly?
Not so simple for yellow to score here. They do have 2 rocks left.
They have that angle raise.
They have an angle raise. I have a feeling they'll save that for the last rock if they need to use it.
Yeah.
You could double out, if you can move even.
Think it through, people. Think it through.
May want to try moving both of those reds off the 4 foot. Hit it just off nose. You might even leave your shot. Probably not, because the back red's likely to jam. Almost certain to jam on one of the 2 reds in the 8 foot.
Hey, rock us out.
All right, back to the wide view. We have a rock
That
coming in
back
here.
yellow. Back yellow.
Let's see, they want to sit on or in front of that rock on the right side of the screen. They got this. This is either going to be down to it or it is down to it. And this will be a. If it curls enough, it'll be a counter. Yeah, that's going to freeze in there.
Nice.
I don't know if that's a counter or not, though, because that's hung out a little wide. Let's take a look.
Counter. I think you're right, Ed.
Yeah, I think yellow's still
I
shot.
think yellow's still shot.
Just didn't quite get enough curl out there. So now the question for yellow on C is if they want to try to sit 2. Just make her throw against 2 on the last rock.
I'd say I'd go for the 2. Drop it in there.
And they're having a little team discussion, so we'll go back to the wide view.
Put a what animal can that put? A full goblin press on it?
First skip rock. First skip rock on B for Schenectady here. Down by 1 with the hammer. Facing 4 reds in the house right now, though.
What happens when you get old?
I know. Well, all 3 of these games are. Wow.
Sweepers off. This might be hanging a little wide. They may not be getting what they want.
Tossed it wide.
Tossed it wide. May get. No, took care of one of the back ones, but doesn't really change the situation. Or now in an excellent spot to steal.
What are they doing? They're gonna lob that bad boy on there.
I would
They've
think
learned
you
from the
might
previous shot.
even just tap your red up a few inches and make it a harder angle raise because that's what they have. All right, shoot C. We have our. Sorry, that was the first skip rock before. So yellow still has 2 rocks left here. We still have skip rocks left to go on.
Like, this is my place.
Let's see. With their first rock, they're going to look to sit a second one out here on the left side, or at least guard it up. I'm not sure what the weight they're looking for is. But yeah, they really got to go. Line is tight.
Good, keep going. You gotta carve.
They feel happy about the line now, it looks like.
Carving a pumpkin. It's gonna go on you. You're on a different line.
This looks pretty good if it'll just slip by. Oh, what a shot. They dare by completely in there and buried.
They carved the pumpkin.
As Joel Lineker would say, they carved the pumpkin. Take a quick look there. That rock buried deep into the 8 foot. And yellow now sitting 2 with only 2 red rocks remaining.
This could have been the game.
That was a critical shot for sure.
Critical. Got a lot of rocks yet, though. A lot of rocks.
Yes, they're
A lot of rocks yet.
they're 1 rock behind our A event final. On the middle sheet there, we have the first event final. Really considering or here what Schenectady has and what she wants to leave them. Because that's the question. What are you afraid of yellow throwing here? Yellow, of course, has the angle taps or angle raise, however you want to play it, to leave something in the 4 foot to win the game. They could get a rock to the button that way. The other way, if we look at the overhead on B real quick, You now could actually win with the double, too. Now you don't necessarily have to jam the double. You could throw a double on B for yellow, leave your rock pretty much where it is on the nose, and just barely score. Those are both really tough shots, though. So it's a question of which one you think your opponent is more likely to make, which one's easier you for the defend. I would probably be tempted, because those are both tough shots, just to throw like a guard on the double, knowing if you're on the heavy, as long as you're not crazy heavy, all you're going to do is tap up a couple inches and make their shot.
I would agree.
Their angle tougher. Their angle raise tougher. It looks like that's what they're throwing. They're going to protect the red rock directly. On sheet C in the second event final,
Red raise.
Philadelphia team looking to play some kind of raise here. They've got some room to get through the middle of the sheet, but it's got to be pretty precise here. That one's going already. It looks like they did not get the line because that thing's already curling.
Push. Dig.
Meanwhile, on B, we did get that little tap, so that we're...
Are you eating again? Marianne?
This could slip right through that hole. Oh!
Oh, almost a jingle the bones.
Okay, here's where we leave the situation on B, which is coming down to its final shot. Our A event final. Down to the final shot. This could be a raise to win the game. I'm not sure there's anything. There may theoretically be something you could throw.
You're going to throw the center line guard on that bad boy, okay?
Talking about C, right? Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, it looks like on C, if we have just talking about the situation at B, since it's our first event final, there might theoretically be a way to slip through there, move both reds, and stick around the forefoot, but that looks extremely difficult, especially at the weight you'd have to throw. Definitely looks like the angle raise is the better play, and that's what they're looking at. Question is if you want to play it as a raise or you just want to play it as a straight tap to the button. It's not easy to make the raise and stick it. You might just have to play a weight where you tap that yellow right to the button to win the game. On C, looking to guard up those taps. Leave red with very little to work with if you can guard these taps. Looks like they're worried about the. Might be okay. Looks like the line and the weight are both close on this guard. Might overcurl a little, but that's.
There is a chance.
So, looking at the house here on C overhead, that guard wasn't perfect. It left room for a tap up.
Yeah, a jingle.
Not a simple one. You still have to get around some guards. You have to do some work. On this one, you probably want to air to be, well, you definitely want to air to be on the center line side of off, because you might be able to tap that first red rock too. That's just barely in the house.
Red pops off, that one get over.
Yeah. They need to promote a red rock. It doesn't matter which one.
Any one of the three?
Anyone, well, even the third one would at least keep the game going, yeah, because you might run into the yellow and still give up one.
Do we have a nutmeg? No, we have a full end.
We have a full extra end if this goes to an extra end. But red with the hammer on C still has work just to get to the extra end. All right, final shot away on B. They're playing the angle raise. They are sweeping the whole way. Now they're off. It's a matter of on off. Must be close. It's coming in. I don't think they have the angle though. I think it overcurled on them a little bit. Good effort, but couldn't get there. Or is technically going to steal 5, but or steals to win the game. And or is our GNCC Senior Women's Champion for the year. Congratulations to Team Orr out of Green Mountain. Excellent game in the final. All right, quickly over to C.
Here we go.
All right, looking for the tap to either send it to an extra end or win the game, depending on how good the tap is.
Oh, it's a jingle off the side.
They got it. Will it stay for second shot, though? It has to stay for second. No, it just goes through, and it's going to be a steal of 2, I believe, for yellow.
Albany
Albany comes back from a 7-1 deficit with takes 3, steals 2, steals 2. They may look at this just to make sure, but it looks like yellow has it. Certainly no harm in looking when you're talking about a final.
No harm in looking.
Yeah.
You want to make sure. You don't.
And it looks like they might be saying, oh, nope, they shook. Okay, it looked like for a second they were saying, let's just measure to make sure, but they've agreed. And it was 2 for yellow there. What a finish on Sheet C in the third event final. So 3 very exciting finals. All of them came down to the final rocks. And our finals in the first event final, it was Team Szymaszek. I apologize if I got that wrong. I heard several different pronunciations. Falling to Team Orr. Team Orr stole in the 8th end. So Team Orr is the first event champion over Team Szymaszek from Schenectady. In our second event final, the Cousins team from Broomstones won over the is it Pecsi or Pecsi team from Plainfield. Again, apologies about the name pronunciation. And on Sheet C, our third event final saw the Goldstein team from Albany beat the Dudt team from Philadelphia by an 8-7 final. So thanks for tuning in to the finals of the GNCC Senior Women's Bonspiel. Next time Nutmeg will be streaming will be on Tuesday night for our competitive league. And, of course, for our future Bonspiels later in the year, we'll have more coverage like this. So thanks for tuning in, and have a good rest of your Sunday.